Tonight, we say hello to the Rangers' final homestand of 2018. We watch as their young core is still hard at work, getting reps and preparing for the next chapter. We also watch as a captain, Adrian Beltre, takes the field before the offseason, where he hopes he won't say goodbye. Rangers baseball is presented by the new Shiner Wicked Juicy IPA. Well, the Rangers back home and happy to be here as they open a series against the Tampa Bay Rays. It's game one of this three-game series here at Globe Life Park. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you once again tonight. I'm Dave Raymond alongside the old left-hander CJ Nitkowski, and the Rangers back home for one final time now. Just two teams coming into town on this homestand, and for Rangers fans, it's another opportunity to enjoy the exploits of one of the all-time greats. We've had so much fun watching Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, of course, Ranger fans hoping that this will not be the last of Adrian Beltre, but it's out there a little bit as a possibility. And for Adrian getting the start tonight at third base, you're going to get to see him defensively as well. But what he has done at home has been pretty spectacular this season. He likes hitting in this ballpark. He has always liked hitting in this ballpark, but in his 53 games at Globe Life this season, a .308 batting average, .368 on the on-base, that OPS at .835, and he's been driving the ball out of the ballpark. The last three home runs you're seeing right there at home for him, and that was something that came a little bit later this year, the power, but Adrian has really turned it on, and so for Ranger fans, they'll get another look at Adrian Beltre in this ballpark tonight.
As he continues to climb the charts in a number of offensive categories, it's been a lot of fun to watch, and he comes in hot after a good road trip. Meanwhile, one of the stories we've really enjoyed in the second half of the season has been the Oakland A's. They've been so good. They've made so many great moves, and they've changed the way the game has been played. But one team maybe that has really kind of taken the spotlight from them lately has been the Tampa Bay Rays.
Well, I think when you start looking at teams that have low payrolls and how can they contend, and certainly the A's have done that. The Rays, though, are doing the same thing. Now, they may end up falling a little bit short when it's all said and done, but how about since August 19th, the Tampa Bay Rays have been playing some pretty incredible baseball. 20-5 so far in that time in their 25 games. They're winning, but how are they doing it? Well, it's been 7 straight series wins. That's always one of those small goals that you have. And then hitting. .285 batting average, that's the best in baseball over that time, and so is the ERA at 2.87. So they're doing it with their pitching, unconventional. We'll talk about that a lot over the series, but they're also doing it with the bats.
Okay, so I mean, there's not a whole lot left really to the equation for them. They've done a lot of great things here in the second half and making a mad dash at things down the stretch. For the Rangers, another good storyline for them, though, has been Adrian Sampson. Now, it'll just be his second start this year with the Rangers, but he is a very interesting story, and he'll be in the spotlight with Emily Jones when we come back. Rangers baseball is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford SUV season. Ford is the best in Texas. By the new Shiner Wicked Juicy IPA. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. To you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by the new Shiner Wicked Juicy IPA.
The opener of a 3-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays and the final homestand of the regular season on tap here at Globe Life Park in Arlington as we welcome you back to the broadcast. And the Rangers take the field. It will be Adrian Sampson making his second start of the season for these Rangers. We saw him just about a week ago make his opening debut as far as this team is concerned. We find him in our shiny Wicked Juicy IPA spotlight. You see his numbers from that start back on September 11th, going 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run given up in that start. And when you look at what Jeff Bannister is trying to get out of him in this second one on the mound, he says more command of that fastball, maybe a little bit of the settling of those nerves, and wants him to just kind of slow things down a bit, slow down the process. Understandable, of course, for a guy who's still getting his major league feet wet, but this should be a good test for Adrian here tonight, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. And it will be a good test for him against a lot of names folks may not be all that familiar with. The Rays, amazingly, 82 wins and 66 losses. And this is a team right now tracking for a 90-win season. And they don't consider themselves out of that wild card chase yet. And they're technically going to have to make up a lot of ground in these final 2 weeks. 7 games back of Oakland with 14 games to play. But Kevin Cash, in his 4th season as the skipper, doesn't feel like it's impossible. And of course, for them, their schedule also much more accommodating down the stretch.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to watch these guys, the run that they have been on, and for Sampson tonight mentioning that challenge because the offense has been so good lately, putting the ball in play, that 285 batting average that we just talked about in our open going back to August 19th. That's a big number in today's game. And they got some guys that can put the ball in play. As we see Malik Smith get ready to lead things off, he's a really good example of that. And a guy that you got to be careful of. He's been a good leadoff man here for the Rays.
Yeah, very good and prototypical lead man, kind of a throwback in a way. Gets on base and he runs. And he will start things off today. Watching ball 1, we take a look at the rest of their order. Tommy Pham bats 2nd. Ji-Man Choi, the DH, bats 3rd. Wendell, Lau, and Adames in the middle. Kiermaier, Bowers, and Shufo, the catcher, bats 9th. Little bouncer up the middle. Gonna have to hustle it, and that one goes wide of first and up into the seats. So Malik Smith and his speed creating problems immediately tonight.
And that's what he can do, is put pressure on the defense. He obviously did not hit this ball very hard. It was a ground ball. It was well placed up the middle. And for Elvis Andrus, as he comes across, he knows he has to hurry. And it's also a tough hop, right? You're dealing with the base, trying to get a clean bounce. He did. You see it there. And then that little bit of the issue on the exchange. Looked like he got a bad grip on the ball and ended up throwing it away. And so it will go down as an error only, not a hit and error, which it could have been.
For me, that's a hit and an error, but officially at the moment anyway, it's a 2-base error. Pham batting 2nd here tonight. I think even if that throw is caught at first base, I think Malik Smith might well have beaten it.
It's one of those things, right, where it would have taken a really, really good play to get him out, maybe a great play to get him out. And if it would have taken a great play, then it probably shouldn't be an error. Now he goes to 2nd on what would be the error.
Hey, good news.
What do you got?
It's been changed to a single and an error.
There we go. That makes sense.
All right. Well, now we're square. Meanwhile, the count a ball and a strike on Tommy Pham. And you look at those numbers for Pham. Those are his combined numbers in both the American and National League. 1-1. An old chopper toward 3rd. That is a fair ball. The throw to first. No, it's a foul ball. Delayed call from Corey Blazer down there at 3rd, but that one foul for a strike. 1-2.
That would have been another tough play. A couple of choppers here so far. That one ended up going just foul, and you'll see it right here. This will give you a really nice look, and you can see it almost right there. At that point, it's pretty much foul. Well, I guess not. I take that back, as it came down a lot closer, but a good call. But you're right, at 3rd base, a really late call. But at home plate, we saw our home plate umpire tonight getting that a little bit quicker, Stu Shoewater. So I don't know if that stopped Corey Blazer from maybe slowing it down a little bit.
And technically it is the plate umpire's call. 1-2. A little bit tight.
Did you see that ground ball in, I believe it was the Cubs game? You might have missed it. You guys were in San Diego and then traveling last night, but it was a ground ball to the right side that probably was fair, but it hit the first base umpire, Hunter Wendelstadt. And so because it hit him and he was kind of moving out of the way, he just assumed, I think, it was foul.
This one lined up the middle by Pham. Smith had to hold for a moment, so he'll only make it to 3rd. Rays have him on the corners to start things tonight.
Let's take a look at the pitch arsenal this evening, which is brought to you by Shiner Wicked Juicy IPA. For Sampson, it is a 2-seam fastball that he's been using mostly. It's been limited time this season, but these are the numbers. 58% usage there, 21% on the slider, 15% on the changeup, and you'll see that curveball every once in a while at 6% usage. And I think in situations like this, I'd much rather prefer we look in at some of the minor league numbers and We dig into things like strikeout rate and splits and all that kind of thing for Sampson, and he's been much better against lefties in the minor leagues, which I thought was a little bit surprising. A .214 batting average against lefties. Right-handers hit him at a .321 clip in AAA this year. That's a pretty significant difference.
He'll need to summon some of that ability tonight with the 7 left-handed hitters in the order for the Rays.
I wonder how much they look into that or what they think of that. I mean, obviously they're a team that is on the forefront of advanced metrics.
I can't believe that that would have slipped past them, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I gotta believe they would have noticed that.
Then you take that in combination with your own hitters and how they do, left, right, whatever it may be. Or is it just putting your best lineup out there? Because they may be wondering how long he's in the game for. Is he an opener? Is he going to stay in as long as he can, right? He's done kind of both.
And they would, you would imagine the Rays would be sensitive or on high alert to that type of thing as well, given their proclivity to use the same strategy.
Like, I'm sure they believe they wrote the book, right? Are they allowed to say that?
I think so.
Pretty much using 2 regular starters and 3 openers.
There's a ground ball through the right side for Choi, an RBI single. And so the Rays score the first run tonight. 3 straight singles to start the game.
Well, you know this about Adrian Sampson. He is going to pitch to contact. That's the kind of pitcher he is. And you see that pitch right there. It's got some good run. Looked like a 2-seam fastball on the outside part of the plate. And he got the ground ball that he wanted. But Choi was able to find a pretty big hole to the right side with the runner being held at first base by Ronald Guzman. That opens up the right side. And he's able to get that ground ball through as he was talking with Ronald Guzman out there. Some pretty exciting.
Well, a couple of base runners now for Joey Wendell. Wendell, look at those numbers there, 292 average, second best among major league rookies. He has had a terrific year. Hits this ball on the ground right side, and the throw to second by Guzman. They'll get one of the lead runners. So Choi forced out, 1 away, and the Rays have him on the corner.
Let's take a look at the the Rangers defense this evening. Behind Sampson and in the outfield for Texas, it's Willie Calhoun, Drew Robinson, and Nomar Mazara for Jeff Bannister's club. And in the infield, it's Adrian Beltre, Elvis Andrus, Rougned Odor, Ronald Guzman, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. And that starting defense is brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance.
All right, Brandon Lau. And he'll take off the plate. Lau, one of a number of guys who, if you're just settling in, you might be asking yourself, well, who's he? And I don't mean that in any way to insult the Tampa Bay Rays. It's just that this is a team that, I don't know, we saw him earlier this year in April. But it's not the same team we saw in April, not even close. They have Kevin Cash and the front office have turned things over quite a bit.
Chad Mottola right there, the hitting coach for the Rays, former roommate of C.J. Nikowski.
Oh, is that right?
Leagues. That's right.
Well,
My first ever minor league roommate.
Yours or his?
Mine.
Okay.
Only a couple years older than me. It was quite the impression. He's a big guy. He's built like a tight end. He's back there in the back. You can't really see him. He's all the way back there. But I come out of college and knock on the door in North Carolina, and I see this monster dude. And I'm like, oh my goodness, are all the guys in baseball this big? I mean, he is a big guy. Like I said, built like an NFL tight end. Made quite the impression. He's done a nice job. He's going to be happy with what he is seeing from his club right now.
Well, the Rays have been great as Lau takes low, and it's 3-1. We have 31 players on their active rosters. We're in September, so teams can expand to 40 if they want. But the Rays go with 31. Less than half of them, only 14, were on the roster when we were down in Tampa Bay back in April. 14. Swing and a miss, and it's a full count on Lau.
It's a good changeup there from Sampson, something he will need tonight. We mentioned all those lefties that are in the lineup for the Tampa Bay Rays. 7 lefties. Watch this changeup, how he turns it over. A good fade at the end, and that is a good neutralizer for a right-handed pitcher when he's got so many lefties to face.
Well, he's retired 1. I would love to get Lau here. With Adames waiting on deck to see if he can get his first strikeout of the night. Sampson in 5 1/3 innings so far with the Rangers. 3 strikeouts to 1 walk. He made 1 relief appearance, and then his last outing was his first start as a Ranger, just the 2nd start in his career. He went 5 innings in that one. Here's a shot up the middle, sliding stop. Andrews from his hiney to throw to second and on to first in time for the double play. 6-4-3, cleverly done. The inning is over.
And I think it will be over. The Rays may want to take a look at this, but what a play by Elvis Andrews. This ball was struck hard, and watch the 1 hop to his right, or excuse me, to his left, and the perfect flip. And we have seen Rougned make some really strong throws, but a great scoop by Ronald Guzman. They're still waiting. They're thinking about it. Let's take a look at this right here. What a nice job by Ronald Guzman. He did almost this exact same thing in San Diego. Yeah, they're not going to review that for sure. What a tremendous play as Ronald Guzman continues to impress over at first base.
So they hold the Rays to a run in the first, and now here come the Rangers. And now the Rangers to get their first look at Tyler Glasnow. Shin-Soo Choo leading it off, acting as the DH today. Good to have the DH back after our interleague series in San Diego. .270 average, but 21 home runs for Choo. That's 1-1. Now take a look at the rest of the Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Choo, Rougned, and then the shortstop Elvis Andrews up top. Mazzara in right field, Beltre at third. Willie Calhoun gets a start in left. He'll bat 6th. Guzman, Kiner Falefa catching, and Drew Robinson with the start in center field rounds it out for the Rangers. 64 wins, 85 losses, and 30 games back of Houston in the division. Strike dropped right in there, and it's 1-2.
You saw Calhoun in the lineup. That was a late add. Joey Gallo was originally in the lineup for the Rangers tonight, but he fouled that ball off his toe, and it was still bothering him today, and so ultimately they decided to scratch him and give Willie Calhoun an opportunity.
Glasnow gets his first strikeout of the evening as Choo waves at strike 3. 1 away.
Let's take a look at the pitch arsenal for Tyler Glasnow, which is brought to you by Shiner Wicked Juicy IPA. Lots of fastballs, 72% of the time in that 4-seamer, and you'll see why. It's a good one. It's average 97 miles an hour. The curveball, the slider, a very occasional changeup, just 1% of the time. But look at the average on the slider, a 0.45 opponent's average on that pitch. He just added it this year, and obviously it's been a really good one for him, and one that has been making a big difference for Tyler Glasnow, who is used exclusively as a reliever with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He comes over to Tampa in that Chris Archer deal, and they put him back in the rotation. He's been pretty good for the Rays so far in 8 starts.
Big fella, 6'8", 220 pounds, Southern California. And that one way inside, got a piece of Odor's leg.
At 100 miles an hour.
A wicked juicy fastball.
Look at this pitch right here. I mean, that's coming in at 100. At least that's what the radar gun said. And Rugi was lucky to only kind of have that thing glance off the top of his foot and not catch him solid. That would have stung a little bit.
So base runner now. And looks like there's some question coming from the Rays dugout. Yeah, they were, I guess, taking a look at that upstairs in their replay room.
That man right there, Kevin Cash, is going to get some consideration for manager of the year. I think without a doubt, based on what this team has done, exceeded expectations. There's a lot of good candidates around the league, but his name will be in the conversation. I don't think he'll win it. I think it's Bob Melvin's award to lose, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
Down low. 2 balls, no strikes on Elvis Andrus. Well, we've spent at least a little bit of time talking about what the Oakland A's have done this year and what Bob Melvin has been able to accomplish with that team, and it has been terrifically impressive. Andrus shoots this one out to right field, 2 away. But in a way, they're starting to get overshadowed as the season winds down by the way the Rays have turned things around.
So I started doing this last night, built myself a little nerd chart to kind of keep track of what's happening with the managers and the conversations for manager of the year, how the rookie managers have done. And coming into tonight, I took the Fangraphs projected win totals preseason for the teams. Fangraphs does a pretty good job with their projections. I'd say they're one of the most reputable. The Oakland A's right now are 13 wins over what was projected, and we still got 2 weeks to go in the season. That's the highest in baseball. Kevin Cash has got his team playing 6 games better already, 6 more wins than projected on the year.
Rugi taking off on the pitch, and the throw down to second, nowhere close. His 12th stolen base of the year.
It's not only that. That's certainly not the only way to look at it. But then on top of it, you take Bob Melvin, the Oakland A's, 28th payroll in Major League Baseball. You take the Rays, 30th, dead last with payroll in Major League Baseball. And it's pretty much hard to not have those guys at 1 and 2. Now, Alex Cora's done a really nice job with the Red Sox. And as good as they are, they were only projected to win 92 games.
Well, are we kidding me? We're taking more looks and more questions than that. This could be a long one tonight.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Wow. Or whatever. That conversation, a short one, is Sure Water back to the plate.
I wonder if he wanted interference, potentially. It's the only thing I could think of. What else would they be asking for in that spot? Was Nomar? I don't think Nomar was anywhere near close to Shufo in that spot, was he? Did you see that?
Let's put it this way. I didn't notice it when it happened. I mean, I wasn't looking at that so much. I was probably paying, admittedly, more attention to Odor. 3-0 the count. Let's see.
Nomar didn't swing at that pitch, so nothing there.
Definitely not that. Now, did Odor come off the base?
Well, if you think he came off, then challenge it. Right? I mean, you don't ask the umpire if he came off.
No, you're right.
You just challenge it. I don't know what that conversation was about.
3-0. And that one is inside ball 4. So, Mazzara takes the 4-pitch walk. So a hit batter and a walk. Rangers have a little something here in the first for Adrian Beltre.
That's the one thing that Tyler Glasnow has done really well here with the Rays, is that he has gotten that walk rate, the command, under control a little bit, but we see him struggling here so far in this first inning. He had a 5.5 walk rate with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He got it down to 2.8 here so far with the Rays, so better than half. He cut that rate in half since he's been here. But is it as simple as wins over what was expected when you start looking at your managers of the year? I mean, I feel like that's a pretty big factor.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's certainly, that has to be a part of it. Swing and a miss, 0-2 the count. I mean, you have to take in consideration the injuries and, you know, just all those ancillary things a manager deals with over the course of the summer. Expectations, certainly a big part of that. But there is also that notion of, like you mentioned, Alex Cora. I mean, taking Boston to 100, whatever it's going to be, maybe 100
so far.
Could get to 110 wins pretty easily. This one in the dirt. Both runners moving, and everybody's safe. The throw down to third was close, and that's a wild pitch. And now the Rangers have 2 runners in scoring position.
Well, clearly Tyler Glasnow is feeling a little bit uncomfortable with the release point, trying to find some consistency. There's a breaking ball in the dirt. That's not an easy one to block. And Adrian Beltre staying out of the way. And this is a nice strong throw off balance, and Odor just barely beats it. Here's where we're going to have a little bit of an issue with, and Tyler Glasnow's even talked about it. The idea of understanding which pitch he's throwing between the curveball and the slider, because they both have 12-6 break, and it's not very common for a slider to have a 12-6 break. They both go down, and the speed differential isn't that much. It's been 85 on the slider, 82 on the curveball.
Swing and a miss. Beltre goes down swinging. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Glasnow. Rangers lead 2 in scoring position, and we go to the second. We 1-0 lead. And our Kubota power stats. Rangers starting pitching last 5 home games, a 3-1 record, 3.68 ERA, and the good strikeout to walk ratio, 16 punch outs to the 4 walks. Sampson off the plate to Willie Adames to start the second inning. Adames, one of just 2 right-handed hitters in the lineup for the Rays. And he takes right on the outside corner for a strike. He's having a great month of September. Adames hitting .350 for the month. Managed to get his overall numbers for the year up quite a bit. Otherwise been a rather tough one for him until recently. Flies out to right field, 1 away. Brings up Kevin Kiermaier, who we did not see down in Tampa earlier this year. He is our TXU Energy Power player to watch tonight, though. Last 10 games hitting .432. 8 extra base hits in there, driving in some runs, and OPS over 1,300.
It's good to see him, if you're a Rays fan, swinging the bat pretty well. First of all, to see him even healthy on the field. This guy is known for his defense. A couple of gold gloves. He's also got one of those platinum gloves. He's an incredible center fielder. They gave him a contract last season, a 6-year deal, locked him up, but he has struggled a little bit, struggled to stay healthy.
On the ground down to first. Easy play for the Condor, 2 away. So that'll bring up Jake Bauers. Playing first base for the Rays tonight. Bauers has reached in 8 straight for Tampa Bay. They hosted Oakland over the weekend, won the series, and Bauers had a real nice game Saturday in the middle game of that series. Drove in 4 runs, had 3 hits in the game. That was a career high in RBIs in a game for Jake Bauers. It's been one of the few high spots for him, though, offensively in the second half. He has really struggled. 155 average since the All-Star break for him. But ahead here 2-1.
And he was part of that 3-team trade that they had going back to December of 2014, with a list of names that would take me this inning and maybe next one to get through as far as the actual bodies that were involved. Steven Souza Jr. is one of the bigger names, as was Will Myers at the time. Joe Ross was in that deal, and the list goes on and on. But this is his first opportunity at the big league level. They like what they have seen from him so far. He's put some nice numbers up the last couple of years in AAA. And another one of these guys, it really is amazing. So he's been up for about half the year, 85 games, 346 plate appearances, and you saw those 11 home runs. Well, his career high in the minor leagues was 14 over a full season. So the 11 that he has so far here easily project out to be much more than that, probably closer to that 20 to 25 range, which is always amazing to me when you see a guy who has never hit more than 14. First time around the big leagues, he's hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
Raleigh fans here, and it's a 1-2-3 second inning. And after an inning and a half, it's 1-0 Rays. When we come back, Willie Calhoun, he homered yesterday. He'll lead it off for the Rangers when we return.
To the Rays, 1-0 in the bottom of the second inning. We'll take a look at the Rays defense, sponsored by Jack in the Box. It's Tommy Pham, Kevin Kiermaier, and Malik Smith in the outfield for Kevin Cash's club. Joey Wendell, Willie Adames, Brandon Lau. We're going to get to see those last two. We got to be quick around here. We got Bauers and Shufo catching. I tried to be quick.
There are a lot of names so that you kind of have to
slow down a little bit. Yeah, you can't fly over. Right. It's not Willie Adams. Got to be quick.
It's not Rob
but
Lowe.
Also concise. Yeah, that's what got me. I slowed down there.
Calhoun 0-2 the count on him. Yesterday the big home run in San Diego, and he hammered it. 1-2 the count. Calhoun getting a chance to play back-to-back games. Got under this one. Down the right field line. Lau will give way, and Malik Smith. Whoa, horse. That is a tough play. Wow.
And I don't mean to laugh at him because it is a great play, but what's funny about that, he's saying he can't see it. But at the same time, Lau looked like he had a beat on it, and it looked like he got called off. And that's a little Spider-Man move there by Malik Smith. You see even Lau laughing a little bit. It's a great play. Not taking anything away from Malik Smith, but the way that it developed is what was a little comical. And the around the back pass doesn't hurt either. We talk about this a lot. You get to this time of day, right? The sky's not completely dark, still ways to go, but Lau bails out, and here comes Spider-Man. Look at that. It's a nice play.
This ball hit hard, but out to center field, and Guzman retired. 2 away. I think he was also looking for a little contact once he got up in the air, and that wall was so short. Maybe it just sort of never came up. Flopping all over the place. Man, lucky he didn't get hurt.
Looking at that defensive alignment card that so many outfielders have these days, but pitchers beware.
Hey, can't use that. Foreign substance.
I mean, yeah, if you print it on 3M sandpaper, then I guess I'd be a little bit concerned. I don't know if you can scuff a baseball up with some loose leaf.
Double-sided tape. Breaking ball is a little bit high. 1-1 to Kiner Falefa. Isaiah played yesterday, got the start at third base. Today gets the start behind the plate. So it's interesting. You catch on the road, travel overnight, and then get to play at third base today. And Jeff Bannister wanted to do that just to see how he would respond. Little slow chopper up the middle. Handled nicely by Lau, and the inning is done. A 10-pitch half inning for Glasnow. 2 innings in the books. It's 1-0 Rays. North Texas Honda dealers are doing random acts of helpfulness at Rangers home games, like giving a VIP first pitch experience to a deserving dad. Be sure to follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at NTX Honda Dealers. That's Jeremy Spray.
Good mechanics.
Yeah,
looked good from the side. Obviously didn't get through that pitch and left it up, but give him a lot of credit. He went all the way to the pitching rubber. That's a must. And he was able to reach, even though it was high. If you're going to miss, that's where you want to miss in those situations. Go the full 60 feet 6 inches and miss a little high. Certainly
don't want to bury a breaking ball.
Tony Beasley appreciates you missing high as opposed to low.
Yeah. Well, third inning here, 1-0 Tampa Bay, and Sampson a real good bounce back inning in the second. Needed just 11 pitches to get Adames, Kiermaier, and Bowers. Let's see if he can repeat that here in the third as his pitch to Shufo outside 2-0. So just a 10th game for Shufo this year.
Pretty good job by you without looking at the phonetics.
Yeah.
You nailed this. Shufo.
Fly ball out to left field. And easy play out there for Calhoun. Yeah, I think I knew a Shufo in South Carolina at one point in my life, oddly enough. All right, we have time here for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with Rick Renner. All right, thanks, Rick. So now Sampson against that top of the order. And upstairs to Malik Smith. This will be interesting. Second time against Smith, Pham, and Choi, all three of whom singled off of him in the first inning.
It's the Cardinals that are leading, by the way, 3-0. It's an interesting series as the Cardinals are making their run. Pretty amazing, right? I wonder what the history there, firing your manager and then making the postseason. Count on one hand probably how many times that's happened, right?
That's probably been
outside of the ones where, you know, fired like first week of the season, but deep into the season.
2-1 to Mallex Smith. And you look at the playoff situation. Braves with a comfortable lead in the division. Cubs and Rockies fighting for their lives in their divisions. But then on the wild card, Brewers in great shape. Dodgers and Cardinals in a fantastic battle for that second wild card.
And of course the Dodgers right in it with the Rockies.
Right.
Trying to figure that whole deal out. It's definitely getting interesting right now. The schedules are worth looking at, even though you can go either way sometimes as far as looking at schedules. And the pitching is really what it's about.
Hit sharply up the middle by Smith, though he is on for a second time tonight.
That was a great effort by Elvis Andrus. I'm not sure he would have been able to throw Mallex Smith anyway, as well as he runs. Even though this ball was hit hard, you see it skip off the mound. That gave Elvis a little bit more time as that ball jumped in the air, and you see the frustration on his part. But that would have been asking a lot, I think, to be able to get to that ball and then throw Smith out. But so far, a couple of ground balls up the middle off the bat of Mallex Smith, and Elvis Andrus has been tested.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on Smith. Not running. Our WinStar World Casino and Resort leaderboard. And since August 19th, this Rays team really took off right about that time. You look at the batting averages for so many of these guys, and Tommy Pham at the plate right now, .338 average since August 19th. One of a handful of Rays who seem to be rather locked in for a long period of time now.
Tommy Pham getting an opportunity here with the Rays after spending the first couple of years of his big league career in St. Louis. And he was a pretty incredible story, a late bloomer with them at 30 years old right now.
Hard grounder second. Odor to Andrus for one, and on to first for the double play. Another really nifty double play. This one goes 4 to 6 to 3. And Sampson another 10-pitch inning. Way out to the bottom of the third, it's 1-0.
Ball brought to you by T-Mobile, and we have seen some good defense here from the Rangers. A couple of nifty plays. There's a 6-4-3, a nice scoop by Ronald Guzman. That came in the first, and then in the third, Ruben Odor makes a nice play on a hard hit ball and an easy turn for Elvis Andrus. That was number 150 and 151 double plays turned this year by the Rangers. That puts them all alone in second place in Major League Baseball. They got some work to do before they catch the Angels, who have been on a pretty good run. They came into tonight with 162 double plays, so now 11 more than the Rangers have turned this year.
Drew Robinson leading things off here in the third. 1-1 the count to him. Robinson 183 average, a couple of homers, 8 RBIs, a little bit like Willie Calhoun. The starts have been infrequent. Whoa, liner up into the section of seats just below us, and that one got up there in a hurry. Robinson strikes out, and we're underway in the bottom of the third inning.
We're going to go ahead and call that the slider. As I mentioned, it's a little difficult to differentiate between the two, but at 86 miles an hour, that is likely the slider. And we showed you this, and there it is. And it looks like the curveball grip, but based on the way that he describes how he throws those pitches, they both have very similar break. At that velocity, I got to believe that it's a slider. But here's what was so interesting to me. He uses that pitch we showed you just 9% of the time. He's gotten 30 strikeouts on that pitch this year. The curveball he uses twice as much and had 27 coming into tonight. So the swing and miss rate, that whiff rate, 60% on his slider. That means 6 out of every 10 that a big leaguer swings at, they miss it. That is an absurdly high rate. League average on the slider is 36%. So nearly double the rate of a pitch that he just added to his repertoire this year. It's incredible. It's been a dominant pitch for him, and it's a good one. Now, he did say he likes the curveball better shockingly, because it's more comfortable to throw. It's easier for him to flip it in the zone for a strike. With that slider, he feels like he uses it as a finish pitch, and he's more comfortable throwing it below the zone. But it is filthy, and it is really difficult to pick up on it, the difference between the slider and the curveball.
He's gotten all 3 strikeouts with it tonight. And one of those was to Choi. That was back of the first inning. Rangers only have 2 base runners so far tonight. A 3-1 pitch lofted out there to left field, and Kiermaier coming over from center to make the play. 2 gone. All right, time to check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, progressive fan of the Game Time. It's a school night, but the entire Grigsby family is out here. We've got a 4-year-old, 13-year-old, and an 8-month-old down there. And really, when I was scanning the crowd, guys, to be honest, Olivia's bow really caught my eye. I was like, there's a girl after my own heart. Touting the bow. There you go, girl. You can share this with your siblings. Is that cool? Yeah, all right. Can I get a Go Rangers? Yeah. Okay. That works
enough.
too.
I mean, between the bow and the eyes, I could see why you would quickly find your fan of the game. And then a big nah. I mean, this is a woman that knows what she wants.
There's a lot to process.
What she doesn't want is to say Go Rangers at the moment. She may feel that way, but she's just not interested.
Can you show him your ball? Show him your ball.
Our big brother, very nice, very supportive. 1-0, and Odor takes low. 2 balls, no strikes. Rookie, one of the 2 base runners the Rangers have had tonight. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Mazzara walked also in the first. That's it. Glasnow's 2-0, and a bouncer first base. Grabbed down there by Bowers. He'll throw it to Glasnow with the long reach, able to get the toe in there and take care of Odor for a quick bottom of the 3rd. 3 innings in the books. It's 1-0 Rays. Game so far as we go to the 4th inning. 1-0 Rays with the lead, and it's Pandemonium. That's right, Rangers and Rays Wednesday afternoon. It's a 1:05 first pitch. $1 tickets, $1 parking, and $1 hot dogs, courtesy of 105.3 The Fan. All you have to do, use the online coupon code 1 at texasrangers.com/specials. Oh, G-Man Choi singled in the game's only run back in the first inning. It's a base hit to right field. Choi, Wendell, and Lowe, 3 left-handers in this 4th inning. Sampson, pretty good the last 2 innings, pretty efficient. And Choi pops this one foul back out of play. Well, Sampson made his first start as a Ranger on that last road trip in Los Angeles against the Angels. Went 5 innings, allowed 1 run on 2 hits, walked 1, struck out 2. He was pretty good, and that was his first start in a couple of years prior to his start on that last roadie. It was with Seattle, his big league debut in 2016. He was going out for his 2nd start in Detroit with Seattle in 2016, and while warming up in the bullpen, he got hurt. Ended up having surgery, long rehab process. A guy from Seattle, grew up in the area, went to Skyline High School, then attended Bellevue Community College right there in the Seattle area. Great high school and junior college career. Breaking ball a little bit low. In fact, he was the #1 junior college prospect in the country according to Perfect Game. And eventually a 5th round pick by the Pirates, 2012. 2-2. Choi lifts this one out into short right field, hanging way up there, and Mazzara calls off Odor. 1 away. All right, that'll give us a moment now to hear from our friends over at Southwest Kia.
At Southwest Kia, we've made car buying easy. $250 down delivers, monthly payments $250 a month or less. SouthwestKia.com.
So 1 out. And now Joey Wendell. Sampson, after the start last week, said that it was on his mind the whole time he was warming up. Just get through that warm-up process, get out to the mound, and don't relive what happened back in the day when he was with the Mariners.
Yeah, what a strange story and difficult one to have to work through, right? You talk about getting to the big leagues and feeling like it's your opportunity, and that is quite a turn that one took for him. But here he is back in the big leagues and looking for that first big league win.
Wendell down the right field line and into the corner. His first hit of the night, and he will pull up at second base with his 25th double of the year.
We've been talking about this guy and what a great year he's been having as a rookie for the Tampa Bay Rays. There's the changeup. And remember what I said about the changeup and neutralizing those lefties was the ability to throw that pitch away, the good change of speed, and turn it over. Well, that one ended up finishing middle, and poorly located changeup can get you in a little bit of trouble against a good left-handed hitter, and that's what happened on that pitch from Sampson.
It's all men at scoring position, and Lau hits this one high in the air out to left field. Calhoun, plenty of time to get to it, and there are 2 away. Not only are we seeing some fly ball outs today by the Rays, we're seeing some tower fly ball outs by the Rays. So now Willie Adames.
Yeah, and the other part of it too, you talked about, we had back-to-back or at least 2 innings where it's only been 10 pitches. These guys will come out swinging. Check out the Tampa Bay Rays in their first pitch swing rate, second highest in Major League Baseball, only to the Braves. So 32% of the time they are coming out and they are hacking early. That's something that is important to know when you go through an opposing lineup.
Another first pitch swing, and this one lined out to right field, and it's a quick 4th inning. Sampson threw 4. We go to the last of the 4th. Rangers down by a run. New Shiner Wicked Juicy IPA. All right, 1-0 Rays on top as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. See if the Rangers get something going here offensively. Tough go of it so far against Glasnow.
Yeah, he's been throwing the ball well. He's got the high velocity to go with a couple of breaking pitches that are very difficult. I mentioned that legitimate 12-6 break on both of those, which is a real challenge when you have that kind of velocity. And one thing that they mentioned here in Tampa was the idea that he is using his fastball up in the zone more, and that certainly makes a lot of sense. I'm surprised that wasn't a bigger part of what he was doing earlier. When you throw that hard and you're that big, and you can have the good breaking pitches, slider and curveball to go with 95 to 100, you want that fastball up in the zone much more, because the breaking pitches play a lot better off of the high fastball. Plus, it's just hard to catch up to that high fastball in the zone. You see it right there. It looks like they're going for it again.
Swing and a miss.
That gives you an idea, right? I mean, that's a 2-0 count to Elvis Andrus, and I think we've seen Elvis chase up there a little bit more this year than we have in seasons past. And the high fastball always looks good coming into a hitter, but it gets on you quicker too. And when you got good velocity, that's it's a little bit tough at 96 up in the zone.
Hard bouncer. It's a shortstop though, and Adames takes care of Elvis. 1 away. Well, last post-game fireworks show coming up this Friday night. Rangers and Mariners in a 7:05 game after the ball game. Fireworks set to the 2018 season highlights. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS.
So I was thinking about Tyler Glasnow, and he's 6'8". Comes over the top for the most part. So I would think, gosh, his release point must be one of the highest in Major League Baseball. You see him there? Not even close. That's one of the things we have great access to, this data. Baseball Savant gives you that opportunity to not only find that kind of data, but then the ability to sort it. So at 6'8", his average release point is right at 6 feet. And of course, you're coming downhill, so that's part of it a little bit. It's not going to be higher than your height. You think, oh, is the release point 7'2"? No, it's going to be lower than that. So of pitchers that have thrown at least 1,500 pitches this year, starters, where do you think he would rank? Vertical release point.
I would think it'd be up there. Let me pay closer attention again to this delivery real quick, and then I will give you my final.
Well, I told you the distance. It's 6 feet.
Yeah, but I want to see like how exaggerated over the top, or
He's a high 3/4, I'd say.
Yeah, he seems like it.
Pretty close to over the top.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm going to say he's up top 10 anyway.
I thought he'd be leading. And you get a look at the delivery right here. Big guy. Now he does collapse a little bit on the backside, so that's part of it as far as bringing it down. Well, that 6-foot average release point for Tyler Glasnow among pitchers that have thrown at least 1,500 pitches is 64th in baseball.
Big swing and a miss. He strikes out Mazzara. 2 away.
This is intentional. How about this? A breaking ball, not necessarily trying to bury it, but okay, throwing it up in the zone. And you see Nomar Mazzara's got a pretty level swing, struggling to get to that pitch, and it's all about the spin. Watch the back leg here, right? He comes down a little bit, so there's a little bit of collapse there. And the tightness on the breaking ball, he can get away with ones up in the zone because it comes out of that same slot as the fastball. Justin Verlander, highest vertical release point in Major League Baseball at 6.7 feet.
6.7, so that's a significant.
Sure, about 6'8", right? 6'8", 6'9". 75% of 12 is 8. So 6'8", about average on the release point. So he's a guy that stands up taller in his delivery and comes over the top, and that's because he's what, 6'5", I believe.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
that's funny that he's able to get that much higher with the release point. That it's that much more exaggerated. Whoa.
We'll see Blake Snell tomorrow. Blake Snell has the 4th highest vertical release point. Just get an idea, because a lot of times you talk about the reason it matters and it's a big deal. Why is it worth keeping track of? First of all, pitchers want to know, is it changing throughout the season? Are they getting inconsistent with the release point? But then also the tilt that you have, the ability to get that downward angle on your pitches that can be so tough for hitters. If you don't throw 96, the idea of having some really good tilt is something you can work to your advantage. Now, outs, Claudio obviously has a very low vertical release point. That's another way that you can counteract maybe having lower velocity. There's a bunch of different ways to get there and be successful.
2-2. And Beltre on the ground towards second base. Up by Lau, moving to his left. It's a 1-2-3 4th inning. So Glasnow, no hits through 4. 5th inning coming. Rays lead 1-0. Visit your local GMC dealer today. By the Texas Department of Transportation, who remind you to click it or ticket day and night. And by Buick. Visit your local Buick dealer. One nothing our score. And the bottom of the order coming here in the 5th inning for the Rays. Kiermaier, Bowers, and Schufo. And Sampson rides that one just a little bit high for a ball. Kiermaier grounded out in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 1. We were talking when he was up about his great defense, and that is certainly his calling card. But lately he's been swinging the bat well in addition. Last 11 games, he has 17 hits in 40 at bats. That's a .425 average. A lot of extra base hits lately for him as well. Kiermaier for the year, 7 home runs. Missed some time with injury this season. And pulls this one on the ground to the right side of the infield. Odora throws him out. 1 away here in the 5th inning.
That's the really good version of the changeup from Sampson that he needs against those left-handed hitters. And he's throwing a lot of good ones tonight. Just that one that he kept in the middle of the plate to Joey Wendell. But you'll get a good look at what he's trying to do with that changeup. First of all, I see a couple of pitches in, and then look at the location. Down and away, you get a hitter that's in swing mode, and you locate that thing in that spot right there, and you'll have a lot of success against these lefties. That's a great pitch.
Well, Bowers struck out in the second. He's 0 for 1. So far, I have to be pretty impressed with Adrian Sampson. I mentioned he allowed 2 hits in 5 innings last Tuesday in his start in Los Angeles. Today gave up 3 hits in the first inning and allowed a run, but he's allowed 5 hits through these first 4 frames. Well, he has, since that first inning, he's been very efficient.
So he is now, what, 9 1/3 innings into his season here with the Rangers so far. He had 5 1/3, plus the, what, 4 1/3 so far, right? How's my math? 9 2/3.
Yep.
He has yet to receive a single run of support. That's not
interesting,
a big sample size or anything, but as I mentioned, he's looking for that first big league win. He went 0-1 back in 2016 in that one game that he pitched, went 4 2/3, took a loss with the Mariners, and 0-1 so far here in 2 games. He pitched pretty well in this last one, right? He only gave up 1, but he took a loss.
Yeah, well, he pitched real well in that one. Fly ball to center field. That's a long out for Bowers. 2 away. Well, I want to invite you to be here for the final Saturday home game of the regular season. Saturday night, Rangers Mariners, 7:05. All fans are going to get a voucher for a free ticket to a select game in 2019. Go to TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. Love to see you out here this Saturday night. Shufo takes off the plate for a ball.
So this is, you said you knew a Shufo.
Yep, I want to say his name was Tony Shufo, and I think he was the sports information director at the College of Charleston.
Well,
how about
nice.
that?
Pretty impressive.
I think.
This is a real question. Don't make fun of me here. Is that a pretty heavy Italian name, or is it maybe some other?
No, I don't know. No, I mean, I guess, yeah, I guess I would believe it if you told me it was.
I don't know.
We should have done 23andMe, and then we'd, you know.
Yep, and we'd know. Then you'd be surprised, though.
Down low, 2-1 to Shufo.
I lost 17% of my Italian heritage doing that.
Right? So
I thought I was 50% because I thought my mom's parents were 100% Italian.
Well, so there's a little bit of information to this. This one off into the bat foul, 2-2. I recently got an email from 23andMe. They said, hey, we've updated some of our research and data.
Yep.
And we now have a tad bit more accuracy with our results. And so now you're no longer any of this and you're a little more of that.
Anything significant?
No, I can't remember even, but it was just interesting that it changed.
I'm surprised that they would admit that.
I mean, I think as they gather more and more information, they'll just get better and better at identifying genetically where people are from. It's a very random aside conversation for us. A 2-2 pitch on the way to Shufo, and that's downstairs.
That was a fun thing we got to do this year, though, with 23andMe and the World Cup.
Well, so far, no walks issued by Sampson, but he has run the count full on Nick Shufo. And this ball on the ground, a one-hopper second base. Nice snare by Odor. He throws out Shufo, and the inning is done. Another 1-2-3 for Adrian Sampson.
Well, it continues to be a great defensive year for Rougned Odor. All the work that he has put in, the range, the hands. This one is hit sharply. You see him sliding to his right, hops up and makes an easy throw. Great play. Another one by Rougned Odor. Lions player breakdown, and Tyler Glasnow so far has been very impressive in his 4 innings of work. He has not allowed a hit. He has just the 1 walk and the 4 strikeouts. And we've talked a lot about the breaking pitches, the curveball and the slider. Very similar break, downward action, but a big range when you talk about the velocity of those pitches.
First pitch, a little chopper to a shifted Adames at short, and Calhoun thrown out 1 away.
So even though they have similar break, they are 2 completely different grips. But I got to tell you, there's probably a lot of hitters that have said, no, they both kind of look the same. And he's even talked about this. I mentioned it earlier, where he said he'll look at the pitch classifications that PitchFX and other technologies pick up, and he doesn't think they're completely accurate. He says he feels like he splits it even, about 50% on each of those pitches, where the information I ran across had 18% on the curveball and only 9% on the slider. And he's like, no, it's probably closer to even on average. And if anything, the slider's so nasty, I'd almost want to see him throw that a little bit more. But the range has been anywhere from 81 to 90. Now, again, they're two different breaking pitches, but they probably look very similar to Ranger hitters.
Guzman takes a good hack at this one. Deep to center, and a leaping catch by Kiermaier. On the run with his back to the infield, and he reaches up to take one away from Guzman. That is some kind of defensive play.
Tremendous play and a bad break for Ronald Guzman, who got a hold of a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Remember, he lined out to center in his last at-bat. This one he hit even harder, and watch Kiermaier get up and time that absolutely perfectly. This guy is a tremendous athlete. We mentioned a couple of gold gloves and the platinum glove almost a little early, but not even, because you would have thought, well, it would have been end of the glove. It was as if he jumped a little early and found a way to stay up in the air. And Ronald Guzman, after hitting his second hard hit ball tonight, you see the frustration. Not impressed. And I like that. I like that reaction better from Ronald Guzman personally, and teach their own, than the tip of the cap. I don't like when guys tip their cap to a hitter. Not to say you don't appreciate, or to a defender, right? When a hitter hits the ball, how many times we've seen like guy come around first and he, oh, hey, nice play. Yeah, maybe tell him tomorrow. Be mad. He just took a hit away from me. I like Ronald Guzman's reaction. That's pretty cool.
I like Glasnow's reaction.
Yeah. He was certainly happy with that.
I'm kind of impressed with that. was the look he gave. The 1-2 pitch. A little bouncer by the mound. Could be a tough play. Charging Adames, and the throw not in time. And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa beats it out for an infield hit. First hit of the night for the Rangers.
Well, this is why we love baseball, right? I mean, so many different ways to be able to get on. Ronald Guzman hit a ball 108 miles an hour that turned into an out, and there's a soft ground ball by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa that he is able to beat out just barely in the infield. And a heck of an attempt here by Adames. Got rid of it quickly, short hop on the throw, and clearly you can see there that Kiner-Falefa beat it out. Had he thrown it in the air, that's one of those ones where you want to make sure you get that throw in the air.
Exit velocity, 75 miles per hour.
Ronald Guzman's so mad right now.
So in a 1-0 game, that's a big deal. Kiner-Falefa aboard. Drew Robinson does have some thunder in that bat. Been a tough year for him, just inconsistent playing time. We saw it last year from him. He comes up empty here, 0-2. 2 out and a man on, bottom of the 5th.
Such a tough spot too for Drew Robinson, right? Talk about the sporadic starts, and then what do you get? You get a guy that's got this kind of stuff and locked in the way that he is tonight.
0-2, strike 3 called, and Robinson down looking. The inning is done. Rangers get their first hit of the night, but we've played 5, and it's 1-0 Tampa Bay.
In the top of the 6th, as we welcome you back to Globe Life Park in Arlington, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa making his 31st start behind the plate for the Rangers this season. I asked him if he would have ever imagined this in March. If I would have told him you'd be making your 31st start of the season at catcher here with just a couple weeks to go in the season, and he said, I would have told you you were absolutely nuts. There was no way I ever foresaw this coming, much less, you know, being at the major league level the entire season, and then being behind the plate for this many games really has been something completely unexpected for me, but something that I've really enjoyed and tried to embrace and learn as much as I can along the way.
He's been a sponge, right? And that's really important, I think, in that spot when you have a guy like Robinson Chirinos to be able to lean on. And Carlos Perez as well. Respected for the job that he does behind the plate. There's Robinson. And it's not surprising that that's who he has been in these spots. I mean, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has been a guy just in general, overall, trying to take in as much as he possibly can. How can I become a steady big leaguer? And one of the ways you do that as a rookie is by leaning on your veterans and your coaches, asking questions, finding out all those little tricks of the trade that can get you that long career that you're looking for.
A big year for Chirinos too. The number of games behind the plate for him. So both guys kind of crossing some thresholds in terms of use at the position. This one fouled away by Malik Smith. Smith 2 for 2 so far today. Hit the ball hard, and he's run fast. Well, he has scored the game's only run. One, two. We wouldn't chase that one. So a couple of starters tonight pitching into the 6th inning. For the Rangers, that's been more and more a rarity in this second half, as they have experimented a little bit with the concept of the opener. 3-2 pitch, and this one fouled away. And for Tampa Bay, they started the concept of the opener, but they have a couple of guys that they rely on to, when they take the hill, go ahead and pitch deep into the ball game.
It's kind of crazy to think, right, that they use the opener. They like the opener. It's worked out really well for them. And yet they have one of the top pitchers in the American League and Blake Snell in their rotation, which also helps what you're doing with the opener, right? If you have a legitimate stud or two, but maybe the back end of your rotation is not where you want it to be and a little bit weaker, then it makes perfect sense because you feel confident that you're going to get good innings out of your top two guys. And then you can empty your bullpen out a little bit more, use your bullpen. Use that 4th and 5th starter as your secondary guy, maybe limit his exposure. That's part of the plan as well. By bringing him in the 2nd inning, avoiding the top of the lineup for a 3rd time through.
Well, Smith draws an 8-pitch walk. So that at bat itself nearly as long as any of the previous 4 innings that Sampson has thrown here tonight. So that's a pretty big at bat there by Malik Smith. I think it's a conversation, a little visit from a couple of friends. So Smith is on for Tony Pham.
Yeah, we're going to see some action in the Ranger bullpen, which makes some sense, I think, for a guy like Sampson. Remember, he was also in the bullpen in the minor leagues. It wasn't as if he was starting the entire time. 33 games in AAA, 19 of those were starts, and so there was some time spent in the bullpen as well. And you're pretty tickled that you even get 5 innings, quite honestly, I think, out of him that were this effective. You know, the pitch count has been great. I think Jeff Bannister's not going to push it too much.
Well, and this is part of the ongoing conversation in baseball, right? 3rd time through the order here. And how often do you want a guy to see the same hitters in the course of one game? And a lot of times, managers, the modern manager and analytics crew would say 2 times is plenty. Tommy Pham takes up and away. Smith was running, throw down to second base in time, and they got him. What a peg from Isaiah Kiner-Falefa to gun down Malik Smith.
Malik Smith is going to stand out there for a little while, and he's going to hope that the replay shows something else. But this was a very nice throw by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and a guy that is very difficult to catch. Now, Malik Smith has been caught 11 times, and I think the reason that he is out is because his hand slid into the foot of Elvis Andrus. It looked like he beat him, and I think that's what they were kind of waiting on, as Ben May was taking a little bit of a longer look, and that's pretty interesting call. Did the hand get back on the bag?
Well, it did, but the question is, was he
not on? Oh, he's out.
I think he's out. The only thing, and the Rays are going to go ahead and challenge the call. The only thing is, did that oven mitt, when he grabbed the foot, did the front of that oven mitt also touch the base? And there might be a reasonable argument that it did.
Well, there's a lot of blue here. You got a blue oven mitt, you got a blue spike, even though they're different shades of blue. Did he catch any bag there?
Right there. That's my concern.
I don't think he did.
That's not a good angle. We had a better angle.
That's not enough to turn it over either.
That's not going to do it. But our Ford replay challenge, the Rays challenging the call on the field. It was out at second base.
This might take a little while.
It might.
I think this is a multiple look situation right now for those umpires, that crew that is in Chelsea, New York right now.
Meanwhile, 1-0 the count on Tommy Pham. Kevin Cash has challenged this. His crew said, yeah, we think we perfectly designed this oven mitt to get in there.
How much longer is that than his hand?
6.5
I mean,
inches.
it looks pretty long, right?
Yeah, it's.
Or if Major League Baseball is going to try to do anything about that.
I wonder. I do think that those things are at risk. I think sooner or later they might have to legislate that just a little bit.
It's about the wrists or about the hands or fingers?
I think it's about the fingers,
yeah.
which is why it's that mitten look.
So you're not jamming your fingers, I guess, the idea when you're going into the bases?
They could not overturn it. And so that's a caught stealing. 12th time this year that Smith has been caught. This was the angle that I thought might be detrimental. Right here is that mitt. See, it almost looks to me like
that's too blurry. I think that's Elvis's foot still. No, there you go. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's some space in between. Good call. Well, the Rays have been threatening to challenge quite a few plays.
Yeah.
They finally did.
So the call
confirmed. Good time to do it.
Well, now the pitch to Pham. Outside 2-0.
Nice job by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. That's one to be proud of. Done a pretty good job here in his first year in the big leagues. Has now thrown out 8 of 25. He came in at 29%. Slightly above league average.
Pham has a single. He's also bounced into a double play. And he jumps ahead here 3-1. We were talking earlier about how Pham had some real success with St. Louis. He was a 16th round pick originally back in 2006. 9 seasons in the minor leagues before his big league debut.
And that is unbelievable to think about how much time he spent in that St. Louis Cardinals organization. 2018 he gets traded. You mentioned it. Drafted in 06. 13 years in the same organization, counting that first half year when he got drafted in 06. It's 13 seasons with the same organization. That is unbelievable by today's standards. And started getting a little bit of time, as you mentioned, in 2014. It was just 6 games played. He did a really nice job in 2017 as a 29-year-old and really exploded on the scene with a big year. 23 homers, hit .306.
He strikes out here, 2 away. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's turn it over to our investigative reporter, Rick Renner. That's just in. All right. 2 out here. And G-Man Choi. Adrian Sampson trying to get through 6 innings here. And Choi going right after that first pitch, spoils strike 1. Upstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike. Choi lately been locked in a little bit. Last 28 games, has 6 homers, 17 RBIs, and his batting average just under 300. He's been good for the Rays since they acquired him in a trade. He's hitting .333. With the bases empty. Now when he gets runners on base, he disappears. That's an oddity. Swings and misses here, 2-2. When he has runners on base, he's hitting under 200. When he's batting with the bases empty as he is now, he's as good as just about anybody with that .333 average. And of course, it would figure then that he's the guy who has driven in the 1 run in today's game. Full count.
But with runners in scoring position has also struggled. 167.
Yeah,
so it's not even runners on, and I mean, all of it across the board has been a little bit of an issue from the 27-year-old from Incheon, South Korea.
Oh.
At least one of us
Is that a big town?
It is a big town. It's right outside of Seoul. That's where the airport is.
Well, this ball hit well out to center field. Chasing Robinson to the wall, and he won't have a play. Home run for Choi. That's his 10th of the year. And the Rays lead 2-0.
I just mentioned what a good bat he has been swinging here as of late, and gets himself in that 3-2 count. And he gets himself a 91-mile-an-hour sinker that he's able to get a hold of. And I think that's going to be it for Adrian Sampson. There's a good look at the two-seam grip. There's the run that sat middle, and a nice job by Choi to keep that ball in the middle of the field, even though he took the big swing. See him pull his hands in a little bit. That's a nice job as we go to StatCast AI, which is powered by AWS, 104 miles per hour and a projected distance of nearly 420 feet.
Well, unfortunately, Sampson not able to get through the full 6. Curtis coming on for the Rangers here in a 2-0 game. Gives us our who's in, who's out pitching change, sponsored by In-N-Out Burger. Adrian Sampson, the man who is out. Zach Curtis is in.
Good outing overall for Adrian Sampson. I know he's not in line to get a win. 5 2/3. That home run did him in, but he really threw the ball well. After that first inning, 3 hits to lead off the game. He did a really nice job after that and really got things under control. Unfortunately, no run support for him right now. We'll see if the Rangers can get him off the hook as the lefty Zach Curtis takes over.
So Curtis against Joey Wendell, 11th appearance for Curtis.
You see that strikeout to walk ratio, something he'd like to get down without a doubt, but hasn't let up hits. 186 batting average. That's the good news, but the 12 walks to the 13 strikeouts is something that certainly Zach Curtis would like to improve upon. 222 against lefties, 177 against right-handed hitters so far this year.
Strike called, 2-1. So Curtis takes over in a 2-0 game. The hair to height ratio, probably the most extreme in the league. 3-1 the count. He's 5'10". The hair itself, I don't know how long that is. Very, I think, is how long it is. Said he cut it once in college, did not have a good year. At least he didn't feel like he had a good year. So he's not totally superstitious, but at the same time, he feels like he's sticking with the hair. There's ball 4, so Wendell draws the walk right out of the gate.
One of those things you want to do as a lefty. I mentioned the walks a little bit high, so it's now 13 strikeouts to 13 walks on the year, but to really try to avoid those walks to left-handed hitters as much as possible. That's the big one. Listen, you never want to walk guys, but certainly in a situation where you might be looked at and auditioning as a lefty specialist, it's really important for Zach Curtis to make sure he fills up the strike zone against those left-handed hitters.
Fastball in there for a strike to Brandon Lau. Lau is grounded into a double play. He's also flied out to left. Two runs, 6 hits for the Rays tonight.
So you see the delivery there. Zach Curtis is definitely a low 3/4 kind of guy, nearly, I want to say sidearm. It's not that close. And how tall is he? Which is 5'8"?
5'10".
5'10". So what do you think is, last time I'll ask you, I won't do this all night to you, but the vertical release point, we mentioned that for Tyler Glasnow, it's right at 6 feet, the height of which his hand is at when he's releasing the baseball. And even 6 feet for a guy that is 6'8".
So I'm going to say that his vertical release point is 5 feet 10 inches.
4 feet, 4.9 feet.
What?
That's what it says.
All right, well, that's just this.
So right at
silly
just
exercise.
pretty much right at 5 feet. Well, you think about it, right? If he is 5'10", he's throwing downhill, and he's got the lower arm angle. He's definitely under his height, and about 10 inches under his height on average.
Well, I don't get how
Right?
Verlander then.
Some guys get up. Remember Mike Hampton, the lefty?
Yeah.
He was a guy that would have loved to see the numbers on him for a 5'10" pitcher, I believe he was. He almost jumped in the air and had got so high on top of balls. There's certain guys with their deliveries. And remember, it's also when the ball is coming out of your hand. So if you have great extension, you would think it might come down a little bit, because obviously the further you get out, the lower it's going to be. And that could come into the equation to some degree.
A 1-2 to Lau. Runner goes. Strike called. Throw down to second base, and that doesn't matter. Inning is over. 2 strikeouts in the inning, one by Curtis. And that takes us to the bottom of the 6th. The Rangers trailing 2-0. Rays, and Shin-Soo Choo takes on the Tampa Bay Rays today, brought to you by AARP. Last 9 games against the Rays. There's 5 home runs with 10 RBIs and an OPS over 1100. And Choo leading things off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Choo, Odor, and Andrews. Now the Rangers turn to go 3rd time through the order. Glasnow has allowed 1 infield hit. That is it.
He's been pretty good 3rd time through so far. And it hasn't been a lot of opportunities, because this is just his 9th start of the year after throwing exclusively out of the bullpen in 34 games for the Pirates. But the numbers are good. 234 first time through. That's pretty good. 200 3rd time through. I'm doing a little out of order here. 2nd time through the order, a 138 batting average against. But 200 3rd time through is pretty good. And you can see why. He's got the kind of stuff that I would not be reluctant to let him go 3rd time through the order. If he's on and the command is there, I mentioned the command had been an issue for him at certain times, but if the command is on, with that slider curveball combination to go with 95 to 100, you absolutely should be able to get through the order 3rd time through.
Well, so far tonight, he has struck out Choo. He has also gotten him to fly out. And this one will be just his 70th pitch of the night. Choo swings and just does get a piece of that one. That's what he has done by inning. That first inning where he hit Odor, walked Mazzara, the longest in terms of pitches thrown tonight. Basically everything very well in check. Full count. And now, again, very similar to what we saw in the top of the inning when Malik Smith threw an 8-pitch walk to open the inning. Choo will now see his 8th pitch of this at bat. And he takes high, ball 4. And the Rangers get the lead man on. Hey, this Sunday is Fan Appreciation Day. Fans get a 2018 Rangers team photo, complete with next year's schedule on the back, and a voucher for a free ticket to select games in 2019. Not going to want to miss all the prizes we're giving away every inning during the game, including autographed baseballs and jerseys. Tickets available at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Fan Appreciation Day on Sunday. Always one of the best games of the year, except when it comes along, you always kind of wish that it was still off in the distance. This ball hit well out to left field. Pham back a couple of steps. He'll make the catch. So Odor takes a good pass at that one, but flies out, one away.
The shortstop, Andrews.
So now Andrews. It's the first time tonight that the Rangers have gotten the lead man on base. Choo with the walk. He's only the 4th base runner the Rangers have had under any condition tonight. Elvis 0 for 2. Retired once in the air, once on the ground. One and one. Elvis has experienced a bit of a slowdown recently. That's a piece of that one. He did not play in yesterday's finale. Did you see that yesterday, by the way? The Rangers starting lineup featured a little over 2,000 hits. And in just 3 guys on the bench, the Rangers had nearly 6,200 career hits.
I think it was Jason Stark that tweeted that out.
I didn't see that.
Or was it you? Of course I saw that.
You weren't watching, you weren't paying attention. You were
I
doing
saw
your fantasy
tweet.
football or something yesterday.
I don't play fantasy football.
What?
I don't have time for that. I was traveling yesterday.
Oh, that's right. You were
Had a layover.
in
I was a little
transit?
concerned.
Layover?
Well,
Can't get a direct flight?
you can get a direct flight, but if you want to stay in the airline that you always use, then you got to make some decisions when you get in the middle of the country once in a while. So I went. I mean, it's even when I told my kids, I was like, "Yeah, I got. We got our electric strike out there, huh?"
Elvis swing at that? I guess I missed that subtlety. It was rung up by plate umpire Stu Sherwire. Let me see this swing again.
There's the breaking ball grip. Look at the movement on
Yeah, I
that
guess
thing.
he did.
Yeah, it's probably a good call. He knew it. He didn't put up much of a fight. That is a tough pitch. Yeah, you see that barrel coming around. He definitely. We're seeing the really good version of Tyler Glasnow, and it's pretty amazing. We're watching tonight that the Pittsburgh Pirates took him out of the rotation this year. Now the slider was new, and I get it. You look at 100 miles an hour with a good breaking ball, and you know what? You could say, let's just keep it simple. Use you an inning at a time and go ahead and blow it out. You could get a lot of value out of a guy like that. But I'm a huge believer in making sure when you're developing pitchers and going through the process when you make that decision that you exhaust all options to see what they can do as a starter first. Now the game has changed a little bit, and there's a lot of value in relievers, and maybe that's how the Pirates looked at it and said, let's just go ahead and make this happen now. Even though he's only 25 years old, let's go ahead and put him in the bullpen. But you see a night like this, and you see the stuff, and you say, of course, this is top of the rotation kind of stuff. I'm surprised the Pirates didn't wait it out a little bit longer with Tyler Glasnow. Now, last year wasn't pretty. It was a bad one for him. Maybe that's part of it. He had 13 starts and a 7.69 ERA. Had a couple of games out of the bullpen at the big league level.
1-1 pitch. Mazara had 2 balls and 1 strike. He had walked and struck out. Well, based on what we've seen tonight, I mean, I certainly can't agree with you more. This is a guy you figure you'd be very excited to have in your rotation. Little tapper back toward the mound. That's a tough play. Glasnow got to it, but won't have a play. And that's the second Rangers hit. The first hit traveled 68 feet tonight. And that one might not have gotten 40 feet.
And probably hit a little bit slower. Right? We saw the 75-mile-an-hour exit velocity for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa on his infield hit. Now this is a tough ball. You're 6'8". To have to bend down and field this cleanly and likely have to make a throw all in one motion is going to be tough. And that ball did not bounce up as high as Tyler Glasnow thought it was going to bounce up. It just kind of stayed down and got under the glove, and prompted a visit from his pitching coach. Now, this is interesting. Got to be the tallest pitching coach in baseball. It's Kyle Schneider. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's on the downhill right there, right? Talking to his 6'8" pitcher. He's not giving up much. So that is not going to be a base hit for Mazzara.
He's listed at 6'8", Kyle Schneider is. And that was part of the conversation, actually, too, which is kind of interesting, right? You got a guy who pitched professionally, 6'8", pitched in the big leagues with the Royals and the Boston Red Sox from 2003 to 2008. And you got a 6'8" pitcher. Now, there's some value there because being 6'8" and trying to repeat mechanics is a real challenge. And a pitching coach that you can kind of gel with and has tried to do something that you're also trying to do and has done it. There's probably a real opportunity for those guys to connect on some similar experiences.
Beltre takes very high for a ball. So a walk. And Mazzara reaching on the error. An E1, not a hit.
They give him an error on that?
Yep, they gave him an error.
Really? That's a tough play. I mean, the ball stayed down. But even if he had caught it clean, it was going to be close. He was going to have to spin and throw. And wow.
That's harsh. One pitch. Beltre wanted to. Well, our Southwest Airlines bullpen live look. Everybody's up. They have 3 guys up at one time.
It's not unlikely. It's possible the guys were throwing. I was talking to Ned Yost this past weekend and talking about the roster expansion, and he said, so I've looked down and seen 3 or 4 guys playing catch down the bullpen. You don't know which guy they're warming up and which one they're trying to get ready.
They have 14 guys in their bullpen. Beltre high in the air to center field. Kiermaier positioned well, and the inning is over. Well, the Rangers leave 2 more. We go to the 7th inning tonight. The Rays lead the Rangers 2-0. As we go to the 7th inning. Hey, coming up, it's going to be our first ever Whataburger night at Globe Life Park. That's right, this weekend on Saturday. Purchase theme night tickets through this special offer and receive a limited edition Whataburger themed Texas Rangers trucker ad. Tickets at texasrangers.com/theme nights. Mariners in town over the weekend. Final week of the home season beginning tonight. All right, Willie Adames in this 7th inning against Zach Curtis. Adames 0 for 2. Twice he is flied out to right field.
So you mentioned 14 relievers.
Yeah.
For the Tampa Bay Rays, which of course they would have a lot in September, but just the way they even run their bullpen in general makes a lot of sense. If they're going to go 2 to 3 starters, you could see where even under normal circumstances that they would go 10 relievers. I believe it was Oakland 17. And the real crying shame in that is that only 2 of them are lefty.
That's certainly an unusual side note.
Discriminatory, for sure, I would say is the best way to describe it.
Well, listen, not everybody can have as many lefties as they want. As a walk starts things here in the 7th inning.
I haven't looked in a while, and we get to go there next week. To the Angels, they only have 1.
1 left.
That doesn't give you an indication of what you want to do with your child and which arm you should take behind his back when he's young. Because they probably are they're up there too. I don't know exactly, but they probably have 15 relievers.
Angels, yeah, they're
so 32 relievers, 3 lefties between those 2 clubs.
You're seeing a problem with that?
I mean, trying to win.
Kiermaier 0 for 2. We'll take low. So Zach Curtis last inning walked the first man he faced, Joey Wendell, and struck out Lau to win the inning. And this inning walks the first man he faces in Adames and has to deal with Kiermaier. 3 lefties at the bottom of the order, starting with Kiermaier. And then when you turn the lineup over to Malik Smith, another lefty, so it's 4 in a row. All right, Martin Perez getting ready down in the Rangers bullpen.
Mentioned that low batting average against for Zach Curtis, and no doubt, listen, he's not walking guys intentionally. He's not intimidated by those lefties. He's just trying to find some consistency. But I will tell you that without a doubt, the coaching staff looks at the really good numbers as far as the lack of hits. We really would love to see what he could do if he gets that walk rate to where they want it to be.
This ball lined into center field. Base hit for Kiermaier. Adames heading to third. Kiermaier going for two, and the throw not in time. So a double puts him at second and third with nobody out.
We mentioned what a great athlete Kevin Kiermaier is, and he shows off the speed, really good instincts. You're going to see this breaking ball sit in the middle of the plate. It's a nice swing, good base hit, but the fact that he was thinking too right out of the box, good base running all the way around as Adames easily gets the third. But watch Kiermaier here, that's tremendous hustle, and you see the hand get in ahead of the throw.
Never worked there to give us that nice clean look, and now with second and third nobody out, Doug Brocail out there to talk to Curtis. Andrews and Kiner Falefa out there as well. A run in the first for Tampa Bay. They got a run in the second on the Choi home run. 2 runs on 7 hits. Rangers meanwhile no runs on 2 hits, and which reminds me, little scoring change for you in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mazzara, that little tapper along the first baseline, originally scored an error on the pitcher, has now been changed, so it is a base hit. Rangers with 2 infield hits so far tonight.
It's amazing how many calls you've gotten changed so far in this game. That's 2 that were ruled one way.
Yeah.
That you were obviously extremely upset about. Pounded the desk, and both of them got changed.
Infield in, and a fly ball out to left field. Calhoun ranging back, and he'll make the catch. Adames tag, so does Kiermaier. One scores, the other moves up to third, and it's 3-0 Tampa Bay. You were talking about run support a little earlier, and specifically as it affected Adrian Sampson because he has not gotten a lot of run support. Tyler Glasnow, the starter for Tampa Bay, and he's had a very good night so far. In his 8 starts coming into tonight, he'd received a combined 6 runs. At 4 starts, which he's not received any run support, and he's received 2 or fewer in the other 4. I mean, it's just been a tough one for Glasnow. And now an intentional walk issued to Schufo. So
C.J. Cron pinch hit there.
Oh, I'm sorry. To Cron, and so with that, Jeff Bannister is going to go ahead and make a change. Martin Perez been loosening up. He's ready to come on in. Shorter night for Zach Curtis. It's 3-0. We continue on here in the top of the 7th inning. And looking ahead to our Ford probables tomorrow night. The Rangers have had a little trouble tonight with Tyler Glasnow. Tomorrow, they get Blake Snell, 7-0 with a 1.32 ERA in his last 7 starts. He's been pretty good. Giovanni Gallardo, though, in 8 starts here at home, 5-1 this season. So hoping for a good pitching matchup tomorrow night, the middle game of this series. Martin Perez, meanwhile, his job to try and keep this a 3-0 game.
Well, those are the overall numbers for Martin. 18 games and a 6.55 ERA in his 77 innings of work so far this season. But he has been in the pen for a little while now, and the Rangers want to get a look at him and what he has done so far as a reliever. And is there a future for Martin Perez in the bullpen? Will he try to find his way back into the rotation next year? We'll see. He's thrown the ball well as a reliever. It's been 5 games for him, a 3.24 ERA up to this point in 8 1/3 innings for Martin.
Well, his first pitch in there for a strike to Mallex Smith. Men on the corners and only one out.
This guy's been good against lefties. That's the other part. He's already been on base 3 times tonight with a couple of hits and a walk, but he's hitting .355 against left-handed pitching.
One and one.
He's also been good with runners in scoring position, which he's got one right now at third base. 301 coming into tonight. He's had a really nice year. He made a nice catch earlier. A little bit of a funky one, but a nice one.
1-1 pitch to Smith, a bunt picked up by Kiner-Falefa, and he will tag out Kiermaier. Second out of the inning, nicely done by Kiner-Falefa. 2 away.
Whenever you're trying to bunt, a lot of times you'll talk about deadening the baseball, that you don't want to bunt it too hard. Well, this was a little bit too much for Mallex Smith. He didn't get enough of this ball, so it just kind of died right in front of him. And what a play, a heads-up play by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa to get that ball and come back. He knew Kevin Kiermaier was going to get down the line quick. That's some tremendous instincts as Kiermaier thought about, I don't know, trying to jump over maybe Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. That's not an easy decision to make, man. Like, in the heat of the moment that quick, you're hopping out as a catcher, trying to pick that ball up with a catcher's glove or your bare hand, whichever way you're going to go with it, and then make the decision to tag the runner instead of get the out at first. All of that, a lot of thoughts go through your mind extremely quickly. And that's some great instinct by the rookie.
I remember talking to him when he came up and talking about his catching duties and that transition he's made. He says, I try to think of it as I'm just an infielder with a lot of stuff on. And he kind of made that play like an infielder with a lot of stuff on. This one out to center field, hanging up a little bit. And Robinson able to run underneath it to complete the inning. So Martin Perez able to keep it a 3-0 game.
A couple of nice defensive plays to end this one, but highlighted by the really nice play. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa fields the bunt, has the wherewithal to come back and put the tag on Kevin Kiermaier.
As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, hey, enhance your next game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets, enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and a whole lot more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. So a couple changes here for the Rays as we move to the bottom of the 7th inning. Jesus Sucre comes in to take over behind a home plate. In fact, it's an entirely new battery. Adam Kolarek, the new pitcher.
A left-hander, game number 26 for him. 15 strikeouts to 5 walks in his 30 innings. And you see that low arm angle that Adam Kolarek has, and he's done a nice job against lefties, just .234. Righties, though, have hit him pretty well. .324 batting average for the right-handed hitters.
Big swing and a miss that time by Calhoun.
I actually played with this guy back in 2012. He was a standard over-the-top thrower back then, coming through the Mets system, but he's now found a way, which is not uncommon for left-handers, and you always get opportunities and try to extend your career, but the idea of being able to drop down that arm angle can make you pretty tough against left-handers, and that's what Kolarek has done here with the Rays.
Well, he comes on here trying to pick up where Glasnow left off. Glasnow was really spectacular tonight. And there's a swing and a miss. So Kolarek gets a strikeout to start his evening. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in again with Rick Renner. All right, so pitching apparently the rule of the day today. See some good pitching here, and a big swing and a miss by Ronald Guzman. Glasnow done today for Tampa Bay. 6 shutout innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. And Kolarek And a strikeout to begin his evening, and goes 1-1 now on Guzman, who is twice flied out to center.
I think both of those have been pretty hard lineouts for Ronald Guzman to center field. Some frustration. Mentioned that one that he hit 108 miles an hour. Kevin Kiermaier made a really nice play in his previous at bat. His first one, he hit the ball pretty hard. That turned into an out.
1-2. And a little tapper past the mound. Adames takes care of Guzman, 2 away. Let's take a moment now and check in again with the folks over at Kia.
At Kia, get America's best value backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Kolarek, nice beginning to his evening. 2 up, 2 down. They'll face Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. And there's a strike. The Hawaiian hustle. Kiner-Falefa had the Rangers' first hit. That was an infield hit in the 5th inning. But he's in a hole 0-2. Rangers would get another hit in the 6th inning. Little dribbler down the first baseline by Nomar Mazara.
Did you dub him that name? It's a pretty good one.
No, he actually told me about that earlier this season. Said that there was somewhere along the line somebody had called him that.
It's a good one.
And he kind of liked it. Yeah.
I dig it.
One-two pitch. And a bouncer up the middle. Lau takes care of it, and it's a 1-2-3 for Kolarek. We've played 7 so far. As we head to the 8th, this one all Rays, 3-0.
Game summary here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, and we saw this RBI single from Choi. Very nice night. This ball to dead center field. That home run went 419 feet. Nice play by the fan on Greens Hill. So it's been a good night for G-Man Choi. We talked about him. You mentioned it over his last 28, how well he had been swinging it coming into this one. But really, this entire Rays team, this is what he's done so far here in September. 9 extra base hits, 14 RBIs. We highlighted it in the open. Since August 19th, no team has a higher batting average than the Rays.
They're not going to get in.
Nope. Best ERA, best batting average. But you're right.
It's amazing.
Too little, too late.
The push they've made has been impressive. And I say that they're not going to get in. And I say it with some confidence because I just don't think it's going to happen. It's not like it couldn't. I mean, mathematically, there still is an angle there. Ball and 2 strikes on Choi. So they've gone 11-3 in their last 14 games. That's pretty good. They've gone 20-5. 20-5 since August 19th. Also quite good. They just can't make up ground on the Oakland A's. That seems to be the issue. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I mean, it's a team. And on August 18th, they trailed Oakland by 12 games in the wild card division. At that time, they were 62-61, so just barely above 500. They are now 82-66, but they've only picked up 5 games. They're 7 games back. And it's a full count now on Choi. I'm going to go from 62-61. To 82-66, and only pick up 5 games.
It's frustrating.
I mean, that's just nuts. There's a strikeout of Choi, 1 out here in the 8th inning.
I think it starts to make you wonder a little bit. So as they go through this experiment and using the opener and using it well, as you're going to see this fastball from Martin Perez well located. That's the one thing we're keeping an eye on with him too. That's a two-seamer, so it came back a little bit, and Choi missed it by a pretty good amount. Good job by Martin watching that fastball velocity and see if it ticks up very much. Well, that one's 97 miles per hour. That's the part that I think will be tough for Martin. Right, if you see 97 from him with any kind of regularity, with the movement that he has using predominantly two-seam fastballs, and he does well against lefties out of the pen. Regardless of what's going to happen with him in the Rangers specifically, but just big picture for his career, he wants to start.
Right.
But if you see that a little more common, there's 96.
It's a broken bat roller down to first. Wendell put out 3-1.
And that's a great pitch to a lefty. It's a two-seam fastball in that absolutely obliterates a bat. Now he's going to want to do it, obviously, depending on where he's going to be, what the opportunities are going to be. But there's some high side, some potential high side with Martin Perez as a reliever. I love that pitch so much. The two-seam fastball into lefties. It's one of my favorites because you just don't see it a lot, and lefties don't see it a lot. I just wonder if Joey Wendell regrets not wearing batting gloves after that one.
But here's the deal, right? With a sinker ball pitcher, you hear all the time that you can throw through that important movement that you get, right? And as he goes up to 97, do you have any fear that he loses any of that good movement?
No, I don't. I mean, I felt like that ball still had some pretty good velocity on it, and still that late movement they were looking for as well.
Well, he puts up a 1-2-3, top of the 8th inning. Rangers bats need to get something going.
3-0 as we welcome you back to Globe Life Park in Arlington. It is Rougned Odor bobblehead night here at the Globe, and that means the first 15,000 fans in the doors got their hands on one of these Game of Thrones bobbleheads that features Rougned Odor. And Rugi had a chance actually to go up on the concourse, take a picture in the actual throne, and hold his actual bobblehead, which is, I don't know, kind of maybe cool and creepy all at the same time. I don't know anything about Game of Thrones, but I'm assuming this is a really cool thing, and I think Rugi looks really kingly there. Is that right, or no?
He played the part well.
Yeah.
He game faced it for sure. I am with you. I've never seen Game of Thrones, so I don't know anything about it either. But that's a pretty cool piece of furniture.
Would you, if you had the opportunity, let's say, to feature the Iron Throne somewhere in the house, go ahead and put that in?
Well, considering how little power I have over what goes on in my house when it comes to that kind of stuff, I might attempt it, or I'd do the smart thing and I'd pick a better battle for something I really wanted. My cigar Indian has lasted this long. Don't know if it's going to make it much longer. We'll see. She would like to have gotten rid of that on day one.
Well, Delano DeShields will pinch hit here to start the 8th inning against Jose Alvarado. A new reliever on for Tampa Bay, making his 67th appearance.
It's been a great year for him. 72 strikeouts in the 16 1/3 innings. Hit opponent's batting average. He's been better actually against righties. 157 against the righties, 216 against lefties. I mean, good all the way around. And you see that fastball there at 96 miles an hour. This year the fastball's averaged 97, the slider at 89, and the curveball at 84.
Well, Delano's been getting a handful of starts lately. Today being used off the bench, and he takes a strike. That one at 98 miles per hour. It's 1-2. So I was going to ask you this earlier. As we know, the Rays have gone with the opener with some regularity this year. Pardon me, the Rays. And at the same time, they've gone with a traditional starting pitcher as well, like they did today, Tyler Glasnow, and they'll do it tomorrow with Blake Snell. 2-2. Do you have a sense for where they've had more success, wins and losses?
I do not. I hadn't looked at that.
Oh, I can tell you.
All right.
You don't. I mean, you wouldn't want to guess.
How many times have they used the opener?
I think you're going to be surprised at the answer to that one. This one lined down the first base line, foul. They have used the opener. They've used traditional starters.
Actually, it's way higher than 30
times.
Okay.
They've used the opener 70 times.
Man. Well, they're playing much better as of late, and they're using the opener a lot more, right?
Yeah,
3 out of every
is true.
5, it seems like. Ryan Stanek has been huge in that role for them. He's done an unbelievable job.
At the same time, we've talked a little bit about Blake Snell and how great he has been, especially in terms of wins and losses. So,
all right, so of the 70 times they've used the opener, I will say that they are 40 and 30.
I saw you working your little
no,
machine
they are.
over there.
I was looking up Stanek's numbers, so I want to show you something there now.
40 and 30.
Oh, wow. I strictly guessed that. I honestly got.
You're a liar.
No, you can look at my thing there. I got Stanek's numbers open up.
There's strike 3 called on DeShields.
Plus, I was definitely going round numbers. I wasn't going to try to add anything that didn't end in a 0.
That's what makes you look guilty.
Really?
You have to go
no, because if I what would make me look guilty?
Exactly.
If I said something like that, that would have made me look really guilty. If I had said, and I'm not going to try to add some numbers that don't end in 0 right now that bring me to 70, but that's what I would have.
So that's really why you want.
Yeah, with the laziness, the above 500 are what puts them above 500, what ends in 0, 40, and 30.
You could have gone with it anything divisible by 5 as well.
Yeah, I could have, but who's got time for that? I mean, I already messed up what 75% of 12 was.
Yeah.
I said 6'8", 6'9". I'll figure it out.
Yeah, they're 40 and 30 when using the opener. So that's a .571 winning percentage. Now, they're doing well with their traditional starting pitcher alignments as well. We talked about Blake Snell, the great job he has done. Their winning percentage .538 when going the traditional route. No balls, 2 strikes on Chu. I guess I was a little surprised to see just how well it had gone with the opener. You made the good point, though, that happened to coincide basically with this great run that they're on. So,
which came first?
Well, that's
the opener or the wins.
Yeah, that's a good question.
But Stanek is, I think, a pretty fascinating guy, and he's a young guy as far as early in his career. And he's done this 26 times for the Rays. He's made 26 starts for them, 36 innings in his 26 starts. And he's thrown the ball really well. Numbers are good, 2.5 ERA, and strikeouts to walks are phenomenal. But you're in that spot. I actually talked to him, I guess it was last week on radio about this. This position that you're in, you have 0 chance of getting a win. He's 0-2 in his 26 starts. And he said, listen, I get the role and what it's all about, but he's like, I don't love that part. Nothing I can do about it. I would like to see some W's next to my name, but they're impossible to get. So you're just happy to be contributing at the big league level and doing well, and that's what he's doing right now.
This ball hit sharply up the middle. Backhand stop, and the throw over to first to get Chu. Chu a little frustrated as he turns by first base. Lau with a really nice defensive play there. Chu gone.
Yeah, whenever you're going to have a night like this and we're into the 8th inning, the Rangers only have 2 hits. There have been some good defensive plays, and here's another one. Hard hit ball and just perfect use of the shift, and that is something that the Rays do a lot of. And poor Chu, and it's really amazing that Alvarado almost caught that ball. It was really close behind the back. But the shifts for the Rays defensively, they are 3rd most in baseball as far as how often they use them. And they are a +53, which means they have taken away 53 more hits than they've given up, as there is another shift.
Was it Damas, by the way, who made that play? Not Lau. So 6-3 put out, and now a strike to Rougned Odor. Just off the iron thrown earlier today, 0 for 2, hit by a pitch. And this one off the handle foul.
I know we've talked about it a bunch. We'll probably continue to talk about it as we see it, but that opener is somewhat out of necessity based on your staff and how they're built, right? You're not going to see the Houston Astros do it. They don't need it. They're deep in starting pitching. But if you lack at the back end of your rotation, but you got a lot of guys that are good in short stints, then yeah, it makes perfect sense to go that route. And I think more and more teams are kind of catching on to it. The idea of, if you don't love what you have at the back end of your rotation, can carry a couple of extra relievers and take it that route.
Fastball on the corner, and Odor strikes out looking. Man, not much you can do about that. We go to the 9th inning. The Rangers are down by 3. West Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford SUV season. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the new Shiner Wicked Juicy IPA. Well, ninth inning now. 3-0 Rays with the lead. Delano DeShields pinch hit last inning and now hustling out to center.
See him smiling there after that.
I knew I was supposed to be out here. Anyway, let's go. Everybody had warmed up and we were set to go. All right, so Martin Perez. Nice job so far. He's faced 5, recorded 5 outs.
I thought you asked an interesting question, and it's not an uncommon one when you talk about sinkers and if the velocity gets too high, the two-seam fastball. I would say that comes into play a little bit more for the guys that are maybe, you know, your 88 to 91s and they're feeling good that day and it's 92, 93, and then they lose that sink that they rely on so heavily. I do think with Martin Perez, even though he's so great at getting those double plays as a starter, he's not the ground ball rate isn't astronomical necessarily. It's just been in the right spots. And if you're talking about taking it from 94 to 97.
Ball smacked up the middle by Adames, so the lead man on here in the ninth.
I think you don't worry about the lack of sinker if you lose any as the velocity ticks up, because that's the thing. He can come in and air it out. Now this is turning into potentially a longer outing. I'd love to see him in those short 1-inning stints and multiple, you know, inning day off back to back with a couple and see how he feels and how he does.
That seemed like a little excessive celebration there at first base.
Yeah, I mean, I know it wasn't.
I mean,
I know it
that's
wasn't
at
like
least a 10-yard penalty.
It wasn't his first big league hit or anything.
I mean, well, I've never. I mean, I applaud the enthusiasm. We should all celebrate accomplishments every day like this.
Is he riding the train, driving the train?
Woo. I will say, you know how kids love to imitate professional athletes. And I coached a t-ball team several years ago. Had a kid react similarly when he would get a hit, like every time. I thought, wow, that's some pretty good enthusiasm.
I'd love to see that from the kids. One of my favorite reactions I ever got from a kid, you know, one of the things that's tough is you see that strikeout there from Martin Perez using that two-seam fastball and a quick strikeout of Kevin Kiermaier. But I had a kid, so you know, 9 positions. You usually have 10 or 11 players, so you got to tell who's sitting this inning.
Yeah.
And I went over and I said, Timmy, you're on the bench this inning. Yes. Had a fist pump. He was so happy. He didn't want to go back out there.
That's not good.
He was done. No, it wasn't his thing. It might have been the last year that he played. It was 8U at the time, but he was so pumped to be able to sit on the bench and not to have to go back out there. I remember it clear as day. A decade ago. Oh, he's such a good kid and a fun kid. But you know, as far as playing time, he could take it or leave it.
Apparently.
He was just happy to be there. A little bit, I think.
Well, new treats were probably coming, hopefully.
Yeah. Fist pump on the bench time.
Bowers swings and misses in the count 0-2.
There it is, that two-seam fastball in again. So tough to get to. When you get the late movement, guys commit, finishes in off the plate. Get those swings and misses or the broken bats. It's a nice pitch by Martin. Do it again.
Oh, and he gets a swing and a miss. Well, back-to-back strikeouts, his 3rd so far tonight.
It's the last thing a lefty is looking for against a left-handed pitcher, and Martin Perez right now is painting with that pitch and frustrating some lefties, as he just did it to Kevin Kiermaier. And then once again right now in back-to-back strikeouts as he gets Bowers.
So now he'll deal with Jesus Sucre. First at bat of the night for the Rays catcher. Came in defensively in the bottom of the 7th inning. Not a lot to.
He didn't like the movement on that pitch. I didn't enjoy that at all. I want to actually cut a little bit.
1-1. Now the Rangers trail 3-0. And they're going to need to summon some magic in the 9th inning. See if they can come up with a big come from behind effort. One pitch, and Sucre swings and misses. We saw the average well below the Mendoza line for Sucre. No home runs this year for him either. Just one hit in his last 21 at bats. Chopper, third base. Beltre takes it on a high hop. Will go the short way to second, where they force out Adames. The inning is done. Last chance for the Rangers coming up, trailing by 3. Elvis Andrus will start things off. Nomar Mazara to follow. And Adrian Beltre bats third in the 9th. Nothing. Tomorrow, Fox Sports Southwest and the Texas Rangers. You know, we've been going outside the box this summer. Our last theme night tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's all about Little League and its influence and role, not just at the major league level, but all of baseball. CJ's been hard at work on this one. I bet that little guy plays Little League.
That's going to be a good one tomorrow, yeah. He wants a couple of runs here. Actually, he wants at least 3, preferably 4 here in the bottom of the 9th inning. She's still feeling it. That's the kind of energy that we need. But yeah, tomorrow's going to be fun. I think it'll be a good one for parents. It'll be a good one for your Little Leaguers as well. We got some demo stuff that we're going to get into, talk about Little League experiences. And it's a tough time to be a parent of an amateur athlete, even when they're little, because there's so much going on. There's so much information out there, and we'll try to sort through some of it for you.
Well, last shot for the Rangers here in the 9th inning. Sergio Romo in this 9th, and he floats that one just off the outside corner. 2-0.
Yeah, Romo's done a really nice job for the Rays this year. 68th game for him, those 67 strikeouts, very respectable opponent's batting average. And you see the repertoire. It's the fastball, the slider, and the changeup. And the slider really has been the marquee pitch for Sergio Romo. Not a guy afraid to throw a lot of them and throw them consistently. Kind of slings it with that lower arm angle that he has. He's been tough on righties throughout his career because of that slider. This year, no different. 237 against right-handed hitters.
Sneaks one in there. 3-1 the count. Rangers need a couple of base runners in this 9th inning, and base runners have been at a premium tonight. 2 infield hits, a walk, and a hit batter. That is it. Breaking ball, and that's a strike. Full count.
And you can see Romo's just not afraid to throw that slider regardless of count. I mean, he falls behind 3-0 to Elvis Andrus, and he comes back with back-to-back sliders in the strike zone.
Payoff on the way. And a swing and a miss, and got Elvis way out in front. One away. Well, Nomar has been on twice tonight. He walked, and he had that little dribbler of a single in the 6th inning. Andrews striking out there a moment ago. That's the 10th Rangers strikeout tonight. His offense has had a bad case of the Mondays. A strike there to Mazara. Just home after a long road trip, a 3-city road trip. Oakland, Anaheim, and San Diego. And ran into a good pitcher tonight in Tyler Glasnow. 6 shutout innings for him. Romo looking for his 22nd save of the season. Takes inside, 2-1. Romo has also made 5 starts this year. He was at the front end of all that opener stuff going on in Tampa. 2-2 the count.
You start to wonder a little bit when they were kind of messing around with the idea. You say, well, why Sergio Romo, right? We think about maybe lower leverage relievers. Romo in there right now going for his 22nd save of the season. But he's also got 5 starts. I got to believe that's going to be some kind of weird record.
Another slow tapper, this one towards second. And Lau throws out Mazzara, 2 away. Yeah, that's kind of where I was headed. I think when you look at, let's say, 20 or more saves in a season and most starts in that same season, Romo might have that one right now. Although it seems like a little bit of a throwback to an older era where guys might have swapped those kinds of roles with a little more frequency. Rangers down to their final out. Beltre 0 for 3 so far. And Romo missed his target by a mile. Well, the Rangers had second and third in the first inning, but could not get anybody home, and they've had very little since then. 1-1 the count.
So what do you want to have, the most saves with at least 5 starts? Or do you want to have the most? Ryan Dempster, 2005, 23 saves with 6 starts.
Yeah, okay.
I just did back to 1980. Henry Mejia, 2014, had 28 saves with 7 starts. But there have been 5 pitchers since 1980
With
that have at least 5
starts
starts and at least 20 saves.
Okay. So
Nobody higher than 7 starts. I don't know if Romo's going to do any more of those. I don't think he is.
Get that sense. His 2-1, and Beltre takes outside. 3 balls and a strike.
And before I click it, so I just did it 1980 real quick to look. If
Yeah.
I go back to 1900, do you think the number's going to go up significantly?
Yep.
Those other 80 years?
Yep.
You'd be incorrect.
Because you had what, 5?
5 starts and at least 20 saves.
But I mean, how many pitchers did you have that had?
Oh yeah, 5.
3-1 pitch. Beltre swings and hits this ball a mile down the left field line. Foul. Full count.
He knew it too. Adrian knew his foul. Didn't even leave the batter's box, and it was pretty close. And everyone having a good time about it right now, as Adrian always does. The number went up by 1 to 6.
Right.
Yeah. Take a look at the slider. That one stayed the plate, over the plate just a little bit more.
And there's ball 4. Beltre and Romo having some fun. At least Beltre was. He walks. That brings up Willie Calhoun. I think Romo is playing along. All right, so Calhoun 0 for 3. Rangers need 1 more base runner to get a potential tying run to the plate. Calhoun lifts this one down the right field line, but foul. And up into the stands. And a pretty good pass at that one. First of 3 here against Tampa Bay. Rangers and Rays played 3 down in Florida back in April. In fact, when we went down there, these Rays had a 3-12 record. And it was more or less assumed that whomever they played was going to have an easy time picking up wins, but Tampa Bay took 2 out of 3. 0-2 pitch. That's low. Calhoun homered yesterday, 2 home runs now for the year, 10 RBIs. One-two. And that one grabbed by Sucre, a foul tip into the mid, and this one is over.
Calhoun thought that might have hit the ground. That's the only thing I can think of there. Let's take a look at this changeup. Turns it over. You're going to see a foul tip. And, ooh, that is close.
Ooh, that is basically a trap. But it looks as if the Rangers will not challenge.
They might. Well, I mean, what do you have to lose, right? No.
I agree. I think you have like.
Can you challenge that play?
I don't know. I assumed you could.
You might not be able to.
Umpires are gone. You only have like 20 seconds to indicate that you might want to challenge. I don't think the Rangers indicated that. And so this one is over. The strikeout of Calhoun ends it. 3-0 the final score. Rangers ran into a buzzsaw of a pitching staff tonight. So Rick Renner, Mike Bassick, and Pudge back in the studio with plenty to break down for you tonight. For CJ Nitkowski, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond. Thanks so much for staying with us tonight. Stay tuned. More coverage of Rangers baseball coming up right after this.